like a lot of doubt that anybody would want to listen to me, but I need to change my mindset a little bit, and I'm really going to give it a shot as of today and start working harder to put out, really good quality content and try to do what I love. I left my day job at the age of 24 solely by a couple different side hustles and investments. I've since created a six-figure business and achieved kind of lean financial freedom, and I was able to do pretty much all that just through self-education by reading like over 100 books and really just by experimenting and trying a bunch of different things. So today I wanted to share 10 lessons that made that possible. When I first heard about the idea of reaching financial independence in your 20s and 30s, it seemed completely impossible. When I looked at other YouTubers who had over 100,000 subscribers, it seemed like the same odds of that happening to me as would be like winning the lottery. Like, it's just not gonna happen. But then I read this book called The 4 Hour Workweek, and this was the first time I saw example after example of people reaching financial freedom in a bunch of different non-glamorous ways. Then I started listening to podcasts and reading other books and networking with people, and I met person after person and listened to person after person do all the things that I wanted to do. And I realized that there was like 100% chance that if I never took the first step, which for me at the time was starting a YouTube channel, then this would never happen for me. In fact, I have a video of me literally having that realization like 5 years ago. I need to change my mindset a little bit, and I'm really going to give it a shot as of today and start working harder to put out, really good quality content and try to do what I love. What's the worst that can happen? Like, I really want to hit that level and be able to do something that I love each week and not this crap, Check back in a year from today. 5 years later, I have, a YouTube channel that has over 500,000 subscribers, which does not seem real. I've been able to build it up into a multiple six-figure business. Even before all that, I was able to follow kind of less traditional path and buy multiple rentals and be able to build up enough income that I could leave my day job, even if you take YouTube out of it. All those things that seemed impossible became a reality. There was this quote that really kind of helped me take progress here. It's like you overestimate how much you can do in a year, but you underestimate how much you could do in 5 years. If you just stick with something and you try for something for 10 years, your life will be 100% different. You can do those things that seem impossible. That seems like a good ending. Networking. This is something that I always kind of bypassed until I actually saw results. I actually just got tickets for Vid Summit and FinCon, which are two events for creators. It's gonna end up costing me multiple thousands of dollars, but I started going to Vid Summit a couple of years ago, and after the first time going there and meeting with a bunch of other creators, my channel had an enormous spike. And then because of somebody that I met at Vid Summit last year, paid $1,000 just for the ticket and then hotel and flights as well, I have made back about $100,000 from that person that I met there and some ideas and projects that we worked on together. So I literally cannot afford to not network with people, because you never know what one person you meet, what one idea that you have that can literally make you life-changing money and turn your life in a different direction. It seemed absolutely crazy, and the first time I went, I knew nobody, but just being around people who have achieved my dreams and asking them how they did it made the road to get there seem like possible and plausible. I don't know. This was always like a hard one for me to actually grasp, because you put money in and there's no clear line of where you're getting your money back. But investing into educating yourself and being around other high-performing people is for me one of the best investments I have ever made. By the way, if anybody's going to either of those, hit me up, let's connect. The myth of hard work. I was absolutely lied to by people who had the best intentions that if you work hard, you can become successful. And don't get me wrong, being successful does take hard work. But if I look at the different areas of my life where I have worked hard, there have only been a couple that have actually made a positive impact in my finances. Like when I was cleaning office buildings, I could work as hard as humanly possible and it wouldn't really change my finances at all. Like, it might make the company do better, it might make me not lose my job, all good stuff, but it doesn't really matter. However, if I put even 50% of that effort into something that has a much higher scale, well, now I could earn a lot more by doing a lot less stuff. So it doesn't matter as much how hard you work at something as the thing that you are actually working on. Is it a business that is scalable? Is it a job that is scalable? Is it learning the right thing? Is it doing the right thing? The cool thing about owning your own business is you can put a lot of work into, building this business, and then you can get it set up to the point like I have where you can run it in 5 hours a week and you put in less and less efforts, but the rewards actually grow and grow. And if you're doing that exact same amount of effort, but you put that into a conventional 9 to 5 or just doing something else, you're just not going to have the same benefits. So make sure that you're not only putting in hard work, but it's hard work on the right thing. Now, like I said, YouTube was that right thing for me, and that's why I'm hosting a free YouTube growth workshop and a YouTube monetization workshop, like how to make money from a small channel. So if that's something you want to check out, it's completely free. You can register down below. Find your freedom number. This was yet another lesson that I learned from the 4-Hour Workweek. And that is that even this idea of financial independence and the FIRE movement, that if you save up X amount of money, 25 times your annual expenses, you can live off that money indefinitely. And while that's way better than working till you're 65, it's also a very slow approach. So I actually kind of took some ideas from this book and a bunch of other ones and kind of built myself a freedom number that if I could earn between $3,000 and $5,000 a month by building up investments and my own businesses, then I could pretty much do whatever I wanted for the rest of my life as long as I earned that amount of money and I was able to build up investments through real estate investing and other things in about 3 years from when I actually started. If you do the math and you lower your living expenses and you find out that if you make $3,000 a month, then you'll be pretty much set, maybe not forever, but you can live, then you have this goal to create passive income, not really passive, but somewhat passive income in the next 3 or 5 years. And if you can do that, you will be at financial freedom. Not $1 million in the bank type of financial freedom, but it also won't take 10 to 20 years to get there, saving half of your income. Once I discovered I was that close, I did whatever it took. I worked multiple jobs. I invested my life savings into real estate twice. I renovated apartments. I worked extra. I started businesses. And within 3 to 5 years of actually taking this seriously and starting, I left my day job and I have never gone back to a day job, and I've completely controlled my schedule. Since then, I've been able to travel like a month a year and have relative financial freedom and have a scalable business, all because I realized I was this close to a goal. I wasn't like years away. I was really close, and most of you are too if you restructure what financial independence looks like and not try to get away from ever working again, but just make a couple $1,000s a month doing something you enjoy doing. That's actually not incredibly hard if you focus for a couple of years. But the problem is you need to have an obsession. In fact, I think that is the secret. Naval, who has an amazing book called The Almanac, says that you need to be deliberate with your obsessions. And if I look at most of the successful people that I know, whether they, built a large channel, they have a bunch of real estate, they travel a lot, whatever it is that I aspire to for them, most of them are obsessed about something positive. Like when I first started reading different finance books, I became obsessed. While I was working cleaning offices, I was listening to audiobooks while I was in the car, while I was at home, while I was at the gym. I was listening to podcasts, watching YouTube videos, listening to books. At one point, I was listening to almost a book a day because I had about 8 hours of listening time. I just always had an earbud in, and I was just listening to this stuff. I was brainwashing myself. I became obsessed. I learned so many different things, and I tried a bunch of those things. And eventually, because I was so obsessed about that, things started to happen. I started to find real estate deals. I took action on those deals. I never spent money on things that didn't lead to the desired outcome that I wanted. Even with YouTube, I think this is unhealthy, but I've become obsessed about YouTube, how to grow it, how to be better, how to share personal stories better. And for the past 5 years, I have not really had any days go by, maybe 1 or 2, that I have not worked on my YouTube channel in some way. And because of that maybe unhealthy obsession, I have built the life of my dreams by just obsessing about something that I knew could change my life if I could make it happen. And then just doing one thing every day to get me closer to that goal. And then you zoom out, it happened somehow. I don't know how it happened. It was just, I was so obsessed with it. So most of us have an obsession. If yours is unhealthy, like it's social media or it's something else, switch it to something that can change your life. Obsess about a business, investments, whatever it is, and zoom back a couple of years, your life will change. Copy what works. I want to make sure this comes across. I am nobody special. I'm not overly intelligent. In fact, I didn't finish high school. I would say I'm generally under intelligent, if that's not correct English. I'm not. I think I'm proving my point. But what I can do is look at patterns and copy patterns. It's true. When it came to, leaving my day job at 24 and reaching financial independence, I didn't do anything special. I just stole what other people were doing and copied it exactly. And that's how I've literally achieved everything I've ever done. I don't think I'm super original. I don't think I'm super creative, not super smart. I'm like average in all those. I'm not trying to down on myself, but I'm just trying to let you know that those people that who are doing whatever you want to be doing, they're not a ton different than you. And most of them actually got help and just copied what was actually working. For me, I didn't come up with the idea of house hacking, buying a multifamily, living in one unit, renting the other ones out. I stole that from a couple different books. I didn't come up with the idea of starting a YouTube channel. I actually don't know why I started a YouTube channel, but I assume I stole that from somebody. I was actually talking to my wife about this. I have no idea why I started it. I was just so obsessed about this money stuff that I wanted to share it with people. But when it came to growing that YouTube channel, I listened to what all the experts says, and then I did what they say. So if you're stuck right now and you want to learn something, I would recommend not starting from scratch. Just take a course on whatever business you want to learn and copy exactly what they did and do that. If there's anything I want to learn now, I pay for a course, I copy exactly what they say. I generally get really good results, but because 90% of people don't finish courses, that's why everybody thinks they're a scam, and some of them are. But for the most part, if you follow exactly what somebody tells you to do, do who has done it before, you can just steal what they're doing and copy it, and it will work for you if you do it correctly. It's like, don't try to get cute with it. Don't try to be too smart. Just steal what works. Screw Dave Ramsey. While Dave Ramsey has helped more people than I could ever dream of with their finances, there are a few ideas that I just don't personally agree with. If you want to go that approach, totally fine. But his general approach is save money, invest very conservatively. When you're 65, you'll have a few $1,000,000. And that is absolutely awesome for most people. I am not most people. I am a little mentally off, and I am okay with that. And I personally would rather do a lot more risky things, try a bunch of things, take complete ownership myself on if I succeed or if I fail, and have the chance to build a life that I don't want an escape from. Have the chance to reach financial independence, leave my day job when I'm 24, something I would never be able to do if I avoided debt at all costs, if I did a bunch of the things Dave Ramsey says. And I realize that most people are not entrepreneurial. Most people don't want the responsibility, investing in real estate or starting their own business, and that is totally fine. But if you want to reach freedom in 3, 5, or 10 years, you cannot do the approach that, the mainstream is telling you to do. You can't even save 50% of your income. You need to go a different approach. So this just comes down to kind of introspection of, what type of person you are. But for me personally, realizing that, there's not one approach that is perfect for everybody. And there's so many different paths to freedom. And, some people love 9 to 5, some people don't. I'm one of them that don't. And it's okay. You don't have to follow everything Dave Ramsey says. You don't have to follow everything in Set for Life. You don't even have to follow everything the 4-Hour Work Week. But if you can blend these together and make a life that you love, that's where it's at right there. Just steal a few things that match you, copy those, and leave the rest. It's the same thing with the diet. Not one thing works for every single person. The 3-1 rule. This simply states that for every 1 hour you spend learning, studying, whatever, all which is very, very good. For every 1 hour you spend doing that, you should spend 3 hours actually doing what the stuff you just read said to do. So many people get caught in this trap of self-improvement where they consume a bunch of self-improvement stuff, but they don't actually do most of what it says. And that's why you get stuck in this trap, and 5 years later, your life hasn't changed really at all, even though you're watching or reading a bunch of stuff about it. And sometimes I've done that for sure, where I've just read and I didn't actually do anything. When I actually started doing stuff, that's where a lot of success actually happens. So unless you're just getting started in this, for every 1 hour you spend learning something, spend 3 hours actually implementing it. Spend 3 hours working on the business and not learning more about it. And by doing that, you'll learn a lot of stuff that you're forced to learn. It's like if you spend an hour watching a video on how to declutter your house, spend 3 hours actually decluttering your house, and your life will totally change, as opposed to 3 hours of watching that stuff and then not really doing anything. Action almost always beats learning, as long as you have kind of a base level of understanding. If you enjoyed this video, you can check out this video for my second channel, which is all about how to grow on YouTube and kind of the business aspects of my life. So you can check that out right here. And also you can sign up for the free live class that I'm teaching on how to grow YouTube. There's a link down below. See you next week.